imagine the frustration you'd feel trying to communicate and not being able to smoothly flow with your words. Well, today is International Stammering Awareness Day, and we want to celebrate people who live with this condition. I have here in the studio Emmanuel Addo. Emmanuel Addo is the General Secretary for the Ghana Stammering Association. So we'll talk a little bit about the impacts that this condition has on people who live with it and how society, how you and me can help. Mr. Addo, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So first of all, I was asking you earlier, is there a scientific explanation of this process that people want to speak, but they're unable to freely flow? How do we explain this scientifically?
So, stammering, as we all know, has been in existence for years, and then a lot of research has gone into it. What scientists have now discovered is that if you study the brain of a person who stammers and you compare it to that of someone who doesn't stammer, there is like a lot of activity within the part of the brain that's supposed to produce speech in a person who stammers, but that doesn't happen in those who do not stammer. And as to why that is, research hasn't been concluded to actually establish what it is, but the work is still being done on it. So basically, it's a neurologic condition. It originates from the brain.
I find it very interesting that they've even been able to identify that they are different, or that the brains look different. The brains of someone who's
activity within the
activity brain
yes.
Is different from the one for those who do not stammer. But then, how does it feel as a person? Do you, with time, get to live with it and it becomes, you get used to it, or do you feel frustrated that you can't say the things that you want to say the way you want to say it?
Thank you very much. I was born with a stammer. Growing up, I've now been stammering, and then I think it had an impact on me when I was in class 4, because that's when you need to interact a lot more in class, reading and all that. Yeah. And around then, it had a very negative impact on me.
Tell us, what's the story? I mean, what's the story? What happened that made it that gave you that negative impact?
So back in basic school, there are times you need to read aloud.
Yeah.
Especially reading in class, and then the teacher knows you stammer, but then I don't know if by then they were not trained as to how to detect that somebody stammers and the help to offer. So he would actually expect you to read quickly as someone who doesn't stammer, and when you delay, the cane is on you. Mental also. When the teacher will come around every morning, 2 times 2 for those kind of things, gives a lot of stress. And then, stress increases the severity of stammering. And when this is going on, how we children are. Then they'll start laughing, they'll start calling you names and all that.
Traumatic.
Very traumatic. The shame, the stigma, the embarrassment, the teasing, name calling, and all that had a negative impact on me. I should tell you, for now, there is people who stammer are torn between two things. One, some want to achieve fluency, and then there are others who want to stammer with pride.
Okay.
Because stammering with pride means that you've accepted that, fine, I'm a person who stammers, but then day in, day out, you try to work on it.
Yeah.
And there are some who want to achieve fluency. Achieving fluency is possible, but it's a lot of work and it doesn't happen in a day.
So, but it's possible?
It's possible, but it's hard work and it takes a lot of time.
Okay.
So people who dwell on achieving fluency, they find out that they get depressed a lot more as compared to the person who has accepted his stammer and has made up his mind that I would actually stammer openly. If I stammer, whatever you say about me, I don't mind.
What is the process to achieve the fluency that you talk about?
Okay, so with the fluency, for now we have health professionals who've been trained in speech and language therapy here in Ghana.
Okay.
And when a child is discovered from infancy as stammering on words, then if the mother, the father of such a child takes the child to see a speech therapist, from that very early age, they will be able to help the child with strategies, building up on confidence and all that. And there are strategies that you also use to, you'll be taught some strategies which the parents will work with the child. And over time, the child will be able to speak. The stammer wouldn't go away totally, but it will be managed. Yes, you're able to speak and then say whatever you want to say.
Would you say that yours has improved? I mean, because you don't sound like you stammer that much, actually.
Yes, mine has improved dramatically. Till now, my siblings used to laugh at me because when I was in school, they claim in nursery school, whenever I'm out of school and I'm coming home, I would greet everyone on the way home. And I would just be hitting my thigh and be making all sort of sounds and all that.
Just trying to
bring out the word. And I remember myself, I used to hit my thigh, beat my thigh, blink severally, do a lot of physical activities just to get the words out.
Yeah. But
since I've come to join the Ghana Stammering Association, I believe it has helped me a lot. I've come to accept that, you know, stammering is just like a way of speaking. The fact that you stammer doesn't mean you cannot be whatever you want to be. I know people who stammer who are journalists, lawyers, medical doctors. Yeah. Even in America, the vice president before Joe Biden contesting again to be president, he stammered when he was growing up. Once in a while it comes. So stammering I decide to stammer openly, stammer with pride. That's what I do. Pride.
Interesting. Well, let's wrap up with what people in society can do. You talk about your traumatic experience in basic school. What can society do today as we celebrate that awareness to help people who stammer, to not make them feel terrible?
Okay, thank you very much. So what society can do to actually support persons who stammer, I would list them shortly. Number one, when you're communicating with a person who stammers, you have to maintain good eye contact. It helps a lot.
Okay.
We find out that people look away, they look down, and that shows a disinterest in what the person is saying.
Okay.
Number two, if you have a child who stammers, or you've realized that your child is beginning to show some signs of stammering, you do not have to yell at the child to stop talking that way, or you do not have to beat the child, because some of us, or we know people who are still beating their children just because they stammer or they sound different from other kids. That should be stopped. Also, stammering is not a sign of like a mental derangement, or stammering doesn't mean your child wouldn't be smart or brilliant, or that your child cannot do whatever he or she wants to do. Stammering doesn't define who a person is. And also, in school, the teachers and the lecturers, if you find out that you have a student who stammers, as a caregiver, you have to take time with that child. We are not asking that you treat us differently in class, but you should also understand that we have special needs, and those special needs have to be also met. And also to employers, we've had encounters or stories where persons who stammer, members, some of them go for job interviews, and you find out that they are told point blank in the face that the job we have available, someone who stammers, you can do it. But we realize that demoralizes people, and because if I, for one, want to be a journalist, and you tell me because I stammer I can be a journalist, then I could also point you to other persons who stammer who we know are journalists, both in the print and also in. So I think there are some few things we expect society to help us with.
And I sincerely hope that we'll be able to support people who have this condition, because we're all human beings and we need to treat each other as such. Well, today, if you didn't know, is International Stammering Awareness Day. It's a day set aside to look at these issues with people who stammer and how society can support them in the process of gaining fluency, if you like, or stammering with pride. I've been talking to Emmanuel Addo. He's a General Secretary of the Ghana Stammering Association. And if you have children who have those tendencies, you can reach out to the organization as well. They can help in that regard. Ms. Addo, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
The best.